The next component is the Morning Manifesto. What is the Morning Manifesto? I'll tell you in a second after this quote. This is from Thomas Mitchell, Essays on Life. It is wonderful how much work can be gotten through in a day if we go by the rule, map out our time, divide it off, and take up one thing regularly after another. To drift through our work, or to rush through it in a helter-skelter fashion, ends in comparatively little being done. One thing at a time will always perform a better day's work than doing 2 or 3 things at a time. By following this rule, one person will do more in a day than another does in a week. That is very nice. So, this is our productive day protocol, and we're going to reveal the different components of this productive day protocol as we go through the session. But the first component of the productive day protocol is the Morning Manifesto, which should just take 5 minutes. So all of this somewhat begs the question, what the hell actually is the Morning Manifesto? Here we go. The Morning Manifesto is a 5-minute checklist that sets you up for a productive, joyful day. It is the daily keystone habit to which you can attach any other components as part of your life operating system, and it is a living document that you update as your context changes. So basically, we're going to be building a morning manifesto for ourselves. It is a 5-minute checklist. It's basically 5 minutes of journaling that you do first thing that you do at the start of your workday. This is a keystone. A keystone is like I don't know what the architecture term for it, but a keystone is like the thing that holds an arch together. The morning manifesto is a keystone habit, meaning in the sense that if you can build a habit out of doing this one thing, the morning manifesto, you can then attach a lot of other habits to this one thing. And so the experiment for this week, the homework for this week is going to be to do your morning manifesto. It just takes 5 minutes. It can even take less. For me, sometimes I do it in 2 minutes. Sometimes I do it in 3 minutes. Sometimes I do it in 5 minutes. Every single person, regardless of whether you have a job or whether you have kids, you can find 5 minutes in the morning when your workday starts to create a plan for the day. That is what the morning manifesto is trying to get at. And the reason it's a checklist is because of this wonderful book, The Checklist Manifesto by Dr. Atul Gawande, which was a book that completely revolutionized how surgical safety was done in hospitals and basically recognized that we humans are all fallible. If we are relying on our intuition or even on our skills or even on our habits to get something done, mistakes will happen and it probably won't get done. But if we rely on a checklist that we do the same thing every time, and there is a checklist to tick things off, then it becomes a lot easier. So this is the idea behind the Morning Manifesto. For me, I would recommend having 3 sections: prime, align, and organize. And I'm going to show you exactly what this looks like. So this is my Morning Manifesto. Basically, every morning, I try to do this every morning, and I don't hit it with 100% consistency, but maybe 60% consistency, and I always want it to be more, but sometimes I just forget because life gets in the way, but whatevs. Prime, align, and organize. These are the questions I ask myself in the morning. Under prime, how are we feeling this morning? And we're grateful for ... The idea behind this is to prime ourselves to get ready for the day with a little bit of reflection and a little bit of gratitude. Align. What were our quarterly quests and how are they going? I check in with my quarterly quests every day just to remind myself that I actually have some. And I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably make progress on that martial arts thing that I said I was going to do in Spark, that kind of stuff. What were our top 3 outcomes for the week and how are they going? And what is today's adventure going to be and is it in the calendar? So the top 3 outcomes for the week. We're going to talk next week about doing a weekly review. Every week when I do my weekly review, I define my top 3 outcomes for the following week. Today, when I did my morning manifesto, I realized I hadn't done my weekly review last week, because I was on holiday, and I couldn't be bothered to do it while I was on holiday, and I completely forgot as well. And so I just defined my 3 outcomes there and then. So either you've done your weekly review, in which case you define your 3 outcomes there, or first thing in the morning, on any given day, if you have not yet defined what are the 3 most important things for you to accomplish that week, you just do it there and then. This is the power of a nice little checklist. And then what's today's adventure going to be? Basically what this is getting at is, what is today's most important task? But I phrase it as an adventure because the whole feel-good productivity thing is like, if you phrase things as adventures and quests and missions, it just makes it feel more good, makes you approach it more in the spirit of play rather than taking it so seriously, and is it in the calendar? So I make sure that whatever today's adventure is, it is in the calendar. Then I have 3 questions for under organize. When is today's mini admin party and is it in the calendar? This is an optional one. The way I get through boring ass admin is I create a half-an-hour long calendar event and I label it mini admin party and give it one of these celebration hat emojis. And on days where I'm like, oh man, I've just got this admin piling up and I just need to sit down and bloody do the thing. I just need to fill out the forms. I just need to sort out my Hong Kong visa. I just need to figure out my tax situation. Okay, fine. I'll do a half-an-hour block called the mini admin party. Stick it in the calendar, and when that time comes, I will pretend to myself that I'm doing a party. I'll put on some party music, like upbeat kind of stuff. I will sometimes go down to the local coffee shop and treat myself to a nice like chai latte or something with my headphones on, and I will try and bash through my admin in that 30-minute slot. So that is a reminder to myself to stick that in the calendar if my admin is getting a little bit overwhelming. Next question, have we updated our to-do and projects list? Because I have a task list. We're going to be talking more about that next week when we talk about how to manage projects and tasks. Most of you already have a system for managing projects and tasks because it's very difficult. It's very hard to survive in the workplace without the system for managing projects and tasks. But I'll be introducing you to what my one is anyway next week. And finally, final question is, what side quests will we aim to work on today? So this is what this actually looks like. This is what my productive day protocol thing looks like. And these are my questions. I've done it a few times in Q1, but this was my document from 2024 where the questions are a bit different. And you can see I've been doing this a lot throughout the year. And actually there's a lot of stuff that's hidden here. Q4, Q3, Q2, Q1. Yeah, this is just like a really, really, really useful thing to do. Okay, so I'll show you what this actually looks like. This is how I would go through it. And I'm going to pretend I'm going through it tomorrow. I have my ideal Tuesday written out here, which is what you saw in the template anyway. So here's how it works. Basically, I'll just copy these things. And each day I will hit app now. And the third component is today's date and evening shutdown. I did this at 11 a.m. I'll be honest with you, but I'm going to do it again at 10 p.m. just as an illustration. Then I just paste in these little checklists. And now I'm like, cool, how are we feeling this morning? Grateful, energized, had a good night's sleep. Life is good. We're grateful for coffee, couple's desk setup, lovely students in Life OS. Can't believe I get to do this as a job. Lol, how did this happen? Cool, tick, tick. Let's remind ourselves of the okay, what were our quarterly quests? Oh yeah, okay, cool. So work main quest, make life OS a banger in progress. Life main quest, martial arts setup, first sesh, Muay Thai on Monday. Nice, easy, tick. What were 3 outcomes for the week? Okay, it was life OS session 2. You know what, that's happening, so let's tick that. It was film AI productivity video. I'll do that tomorrow. And it was date night arrange. Need to arrange. Cool. What's today's adventure going to be? And then I'm like, okay, need to arrange, great. Then it goes straight into my task manager, which I use things 3. So for example, I will open up things and I'll be like, all right, organize date night for tomorrow. Nice, cool. That's in there. That's fine. Nice, that's all fun. What's today's adventure going to be? Okay, well, that was Life OS slides. Is it in the calendar? Well, it doesn't need to be because I'm doing it all day. Cool. When is today's mini admin party? Nope, we're not going to do that because we've got Life OS. Have we updated our to-do and projects list? Let me just look through it. And then I'm like going on my things and I'm like, okay, have I updated this? Click soundbar from Causeway Bay. Actually, you know what? I've delegated that to Becky now. Let me create a new project called Becky, just for delegation purposes. Great. So that can go there, and let's say that's happening next Monday the 3rd. Cool. Need to get flowers for the wife and write the wife a nice note. I have those reminders. You know what? Let me remind myself to do those tomorrow. Carve out some time to look at relationship productivity system. Yeah, try out AI. Cool. That's fine. Projects, martial arts setup. Yep, all of this looks fine. Nothing to update on my to-do list. Fantastic. Great. Yes, we have. And let's review what to do in project list based on that. What side quests can we complete today? Have we moved from today? Look in the calendar. No side quests today because Life OS priority. Done. I started at 22:44 and I finished at 22:47. This is literally what it looks like. 3 minutes, bang, 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 bish, bash, bosh, we're done. This sets up the day very nicely because I have defined what is today's adventure going to be, which is my most important priority for the day, and made sure it's in the calendar. I have reminded myself as to what are my quarterly quests and what are my weekly priorities. So I'm aligned in the direction of my vision, so I'm growing in the right direction. I've spent like 5 seconds just doing a little bit of gratitude and a little bit of like, how do I feel? And I've done a little bit of organization of my to-do list, because the to-do list is only as good as your organization abilities, because if the to-do list becomes disorganized, then you start storing things in your head. And unless the to-do list is 100% reliable, you're going to just keep storing stuff in your head and life becomes highly, highly, highly stressful. So this is a live, unprepared preview as to what this literally looks like. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how I go about this for whatever it's worth. And now you are going to do this yourself. So you're going to create your own morning manifesto. And so feel free to recycle my questions, but they might not be relevant to you. So what I would recommend is for each of the categories, what 1 to 3 questions will you ask yourself each morning? I've put a 5-minute warning here because when people first do this exercise, the temptation is to write loads and loads and loads and loads of questions. Because right now you're feeling motivated. You're like, man, every day I'm going to do half an hour of journaling and I'm going to ask myself what I'm grateful for, why I love my kids, what my plan is to quit my job. Let me update this, let me update that. You know what? Let me track my step count. Let me look at my sleep score to figure out what my sleep score last night. Oh, you know what? I should really be tracking my calories because I could really afford to lose some. You know what? Let me track my calories as well. And we make this enormous ass list of all of the things we would love to include in a morning journaling practice. Please don't do it. Please don't do that. I've tried this. It does not work. When building a habit, we want to start small. It's so much more important that you can get your morning manifesto done in less than 5 minutes so that you actually do it. Whereas if it takes any more than 5 minutes, the friction to doing it when life gets in the way, it's just never going to happen. And something like the morning manifesto is a fantastic keystone habit to do, especially when life is overwhelming. Anyone can do a morning manifesto when life is chill, but when life is overwhelming that an exercise like this is particularly helpful, because it helps you stay grounded, define what you're grateful for and all that kind of stuff. It helps you remind yourself of what your most important goals are, and it helps you define what's your most important priority to do today. It is especially, if you don't have time to do the morning manifesto, you are the person who needs to do the morning manifesto most of all, right? If you're so overwhelmed, there's too much shit to do. This is the sort of thing that this solves. Just doing this every single day, guarantee, reduces your stress levels, makes you more productive. So we're going to spend 3 minutes doing this, creating your own morning manifesto. Again, feel free to just wholesale copy my answers, but I would recommend tweaking it a little bit to whatever works for you. So let's put on some more music and we'll put a timer on for 3 minutes.